Peace and love, and welcome to another episode of the Bear Athlete Pod. And today I have an entrepreneur, a founder, Mr. Michael Flack here, representing Soletic Mobility.
Yeah, Soletic Mobility. How's it going, Jordan? Thanks for having me
Doing,
on.
doing well. Thank you for being here. We have been as business people and just humans had some time of getting here, but we're grateful to be here now.
Yeah, raised my hand, apologize. I know we had to reschedule this a couple times, but yeah, super excited to be on with you.
Yeah, all good. So, how I start every single podcast with one question: when did you first fall in love with your feet?
Oh man, it's a long, complicated history I have with my feet. I have flat feet. I've come from a long line of Flack family flat feet people.
Mm.
So I've always had to sort of work, I think, a little bit harder in my athletic career because I naturally have had sort of a lot of just body pain that I've always sort of felt like had sort of emanated from my feet. What I mean by that is just ankle, heel pain, knee and hip tightness, and but really I didn't sort of start to really appreciate the power that having healthy, strong feet can have on your fitness until I started practicing yoga. I played two sports in college, football and baseball. I actually ended up breaking my back playing football, which led me to my yoga journey. Yeah, it was, and I'm happy to tell you more about that experience, but really the practice of yoga got me sort of more in tune with my whole body, but really the role that your feet play.
Got that. So the flat feet flax is what I'm hearing.
It's got a ring to it. Next episode, we'll have my brother on. I'll tell you more about that as well.
Yeah. Um, so I don't know, when I hear that, I think about I so my journey, my experience, you don't know, I've been a body worker and I've done a lot of things within the body work space, and I've always heard that like African Americans have an advantage with sprinting and sports because their feet are flat.
Mm.
Like we as an average, I guess, have more flat feet people. And there's an advantage in that in sprinting and running and just athletics in general. And I never did deeper research to know why or if it's true or not, but I think about I do know you do need the arch in there. Like you do need to lift it up to be able to pronate because there's power in pronation. So I wonder if like flat feet or high arches, either way, you're still able to pronate. I know if you have super high arches, it's actually kind of scary because
That's
then
right.
you're more prone to plantar fasciitis, which my mom has because she has extremely high arches.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't heard that statistic around African Americans and flat feet, and I think my experience and why I sort of go immediately to flat feet, Jordan, is that was sort of what was impressed on me as a child is that, oh, you have these growing pains, you have to be more focused on stretching because of your flat feet. And I think that that might be whether it's sort of like Western medicine and what we're sort of told about sort of our body types. Um, yeah, it's always been something that I've gone to and sort of at least been my experience, and so it sort of guided me in that way.
Got it. The so yoga, what year now? Like how many years now have you been into yoga?
Yeah, so my yoga journey started in 2017. I graduated from school in Connecticut. I moved down to Texas, where I live today, um, and I was having this. I hurt myself playing football my sophomore year of school, and that sort of initiated about an 18-month pretty intense rehab, which involved a lot of stretching, a lot of core exercise to sort of bring your body more forward, reducing stress on your back.
Mm-hmm.
I also was wearing sort of like this fiberglass corset underneath my clothes, which, as a sophomore in college is really not ideal.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out who you are and grow up a little bit. Um, but after that rehab period, like a unwise, adolescent, I just continued to go back to the weight room because I was a football player. That was sort of my way of working out at the
Yeah,
time.
that's home
And
base.
exactly, just pumping iron, lifting weights, and being sort of a football meathead. And that sort of lasted for the next 2 years. But I would start to go when I went to bed. I would I would stay up all night because my body was so tight. I was fidgety, and it's really started to impact my sleep and, as such, my quality of life. And this is going to sound a little dramatic, but it's true, and I'll remember this night vividly. I was 21, 22 years old, living in Houston, Texas, and I had this thought to myself, if I don't figure this out, I'm going to put a bullet in my brain because
Wow.
I'm 22 years old and I can't sleep. My body feels terrible. I'm fidgety. And the
Yeah.
next day I went to a yoga class and I said, okay, this is my workout for the day. So take your football attitude, apply it to the mat, give it your all. And it was sort of like every cliche first yoga class. Jordan, I couldn't touch my toes. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what poses were what. But I gave it my all, and I went home that night, and I slept better than I had in months. And the next day I went back, and the next day I went back, and over time I fell in love with it. It gave me immense relief, but it cleared my body of the aches, and it certainly helped clear my mind. And so then, I just fell in love with it. I also teach yoga on the side, just because of the way to get closer to that practice. But that's sort of the history with my relationship with yoga, and then this sort of awareness that I alluded to already with your feet, and then sort of where Soletic came from, all sort of ties back to my
Yoga
relationship
journey.
with yoga. Yeah.
Yeah, yoga definitely got me back into my body. It was 2014, late 2014. I was just started dating this young lady, and she had I think I was staying over her place. She got out of bed, and she was doing yoga, and I woke up later and like, hey, like, wake me up next time. Like, I want to do yoga too. Like, I've never done it. I think I did one yoga class in college. Paid no attention to it. And she was okay, and then we started doing, I was just following her flow, and then we started doing acro yoga, which I fell deeply in love with. Yeah, acro is amazing, and it's like, and it makes more sense to me now because why I love the feet is because as a base, it's like all feet. It's like, there's so much more than feet, but it's I fell in love with it, and then we had split, but I kept yoga. And I was
Get out
just
ahead.
like, yeah. I kept yoga, and I was just doing it all the time. That was like early, like stop dropping yoga days. Teach yoga to my track. I was a track coach, and I would teach yoga to my track athletes. The little that I knew, and then end up meeting another young lady, which later got engaged to, but we split. But during that time, we actually did our yoga teacher training together. And then we did acro yoga intensely, like there was not a time that we were hanging out and we didn't do acro yoga. It was just, it was so dialed in. But the beauty of it, I felt like I understood, like, inhaling into my calves, inhaling into my hips. I understood, like, bringing breath and sending breath in different parts of my body and connecting. And I think it's the most barefoot I've been when I started. And then it all kind of evolved from there. Coaching is like, track and field is like the number one love, and then coaching. And then when I started getting into yoga, I was like, man, if I would have had this earlier, I was a high jumper.
Okay.
We need our back to bend in high jump. And I was like, man, if I would have did this earlier, I would have been able to just soar over the bar. I would have been able to really just bend over the bar. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna teach this to my athletes so they could start being more limber. And even to the mental piece of it, the meditation piece, like to visualize and start doing that, and it was beautiful. So I do think yoga is a great base. Later, I pushed more movement than yoga because yoga is a hot word that scares so many people away.
It really does. I think, this is sort of my experience as a straight male fitness-based yoga instructor. There's
Hmm.
really not a lot of people like me who I find teaching yoga because for whatever reason, at least I'll focus on males first, but that definitely scares men away because I
Yeah.
think, one, there's a stigma. It's not a intense workout. It's not, and therefore not worth your time because you should rather work out on doing something else, which
Yeah.
we could talk about as a whole different topic, but
Yeah.
why that makes no sense. But um, yeah, so I take a lot of pride in trying to be an ambassador for yoga because, even as a supplementary workout, if it's not your full system, there's
Hmm.
just so many benefits on other types of fitness and certainly your mind, as you also mentioned. So, yeah, I'm a big proponent. I'm just now sort of getting back to weight training this year because, as you get older, it's more and more important to push things heavy. And, there's ways to do it that are not so, hero lifting or ego based and just smarter ways to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Into yoga, helping healing your body. How does that bring you and bridge you to starting Soletic?
Yeah, so almost immediately. So 2 years ago, I was doing a continued education course for my yoga teaching with my favorite yoga teacher in Austin, Texas. It was this one-on-one teacher training, and she looked at my feet the first day of this training, and she said, "Michael, you need to wear toe spacers." And I was like, "Huh? What? What are those?" That night, I went on to Amazon. I bought these toe spacers, silicone blue toe spacers, from somewhere in China for $9.99, and they came the next day. And I wore them. I put them in between my toes, and I wore them for probably like 4 hours, watching
That's
TV. Yeah,
that's aggressive for the first time. How?
that's the way I am, Jordan. If I know something is good for me, even if
Yeah.
unless it's like horrible, I can like it sort of feels good to me, I guess, even if it's sort of painful. And so I wore them the next day for 4 hours. I'm cooking dinner, watching TV, just lying on my couch, things like that. And I wake up the day after that, and I kid you not, I could not walk. I was limping. Like the first day you squat for the first time in like
Yeah.
5 months. It's like, oh my God, it's a good pain, but it's like, holy moly, like
Yeah. Yeah. I can't do
I'm
anything.
exactly. And it was like that because of the sensation of my calves. Now, when your toes are spread like this, or condensed, I should say, rather, and you spread them, it's similar to your fingers and your forearm anatomically, right? Your toes wire back to your calves. And so these muscles on my calves had simply never been accessed. And so I was, three-quarters of myself walking the next day, but then I go into the yoga studio that same day, and I kid you not, my balance was so much better. My hips were more open. My lower back felt so much more open.
Wow. After
Um,
just 4 hours.
After just 4 hours of this first, my toes had never been worked like that before. So
Yeah.
um, in my mind, I said, "Oh my gosh, this is obviously because of the spacers." And then
Hmm.
sort of where my brain took me was, well, wouldn't it be great if I had these spacers that I could wear in the studio, so that I'm not just using the toe spacers as a relief or a recovery tool, but really and also a tool to strengthen those muscles that now I know are there that I never
Yeah.
previously accessed.
Right. Right.
And so that next day, I brought those same blue silicone toe spacers back with me to the studio. But to no surprise, like 5 minutes into the workout, they came off, right? Your toes flex, and they weren't designed to stay secure. But then that sent me down a rabbit hole of buying every toe spacer design on the market that you could find on the internet. I probably had 20 different toe spacers in my apartment. But none of them, Jordan, none of them could withstand a yoga practice. Even some of the spacers on the market that are designed for movement or market themselves, rather, they absolutely can. And I'm by no means here bashing any other product, but they're really, I think, more made for back squatting, lunging. Some of these are
Yeah.
more like they're dynamic movements, but not sort of as fluid.
Yeah,
Um,
there's definitely a genre that it appeals to. Like your CrossFit, your gym person.
exactly, right? So you're moving, but you're not in movement, right? Consistent. And so I said, oh my gosh, this is if I want this, there has to be other people in the world that want this. And to be honest with you, that was sort of the guiding motivation was I want this product for me, right? This I know this works. I know this
Yeah.
feels good, and I'm a big believer in following what feels good because, if it feels good, there's something there, and you should always to an extent explore that. So that sent me down the journey of designing this product, finding manufacturer and the whole business, and we launched in September, and it's been really exciting to hear the reception of folks like yourself, but really in the space about the design and just confirming sort of the importance again that feet play and foot health is on you as a total athlete.
Yeah, I love it. It's definitely I remember when I first got introduced to toe spacers. Somebody doing yoga. They were like, "Oh, wear some toe spacers," and she had them on, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, I guess." Like, because I've from yoga, just like I think probably from yoga, just you could kind of just hand and kind of just place your fingers in between, and do that, and kind of do your own little glove. So I'm like, I could do this, but you obviously can't like do anything other than like keep your hand there and just rotate and keep some movement there. But I saw them and I was like, okay, cool. And then later, I think one of the companies that are probably more notable, they came up on feed, and I was like, oh, okay, oh yeah, I remember these. I remember so and so had them. And I think I ordered them, and they were cool. They were great, and then I ended up working with them in a more kind of ambassadorish role. And I still enjoy them. They actually ran my half marathon in them.
Wow.
And the only issue I had, which was only during that run, the loop for my big toe came off.
Hmm. Like
And I
snap.
was like, it didn't snap. It just kind of
Get
unlooped.
off it though. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to stop. Like, so this is also like major thing. This is my first time running a long distance. Like, up until this point, I've only ran, and if anybody who's watching this, I've already told the story, but I've only ran 10 miles in Vivo Barefoot shoes, and I've only ran barefoot a distance of a 10K, so
Hmm.
6.2 miles. So this is now half marathon. I'm on the line, and I got my toe spacers on, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is gonna happen. And then maybe like 5K, maybe like 7K in, I feel something like loose around my. And I'm like, what is that? And I put some like rock tape
Hmm.
or kinesiology tape on my toes because the big toes is if for any barefoot people know, like when you're running, your toes actually claw down to actually kind of keep you going. So my big toes wear off super fast. Like I think this one now is like still healing back, but it's
Wow.
like the
Yeah.
skin is peeling off, and I'm trying to give them a break. I haven't been barefoot all week because Sunday I'm going to be running barefoot.
Right.
So I'm trying to give the skin some time to to mend back. um, but so I'm like, man, I don't want to stop. Like I don't want to break this rhythm. I'm doing good, and then I end up just like, let me just stop really quick, try to loop this thing back on, and keep going. But other than that, I didn't have any issue with them. They actually felt good. They also create a super wide base for my foot. So now instead of my foot being like I have decent spacing in my toes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's good.
like
Oh yeah. There you go.
yeah. So but naturally they're like this. So running with the toe spacers, they're like super spread out. So maybe it was an advantage, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do this weekend. I think I'm debated on not wearing them. So we'll see. I'll pray on it and decide probably Sunday morning. But I never thought about there is some movements that they end up slipping. If I do anything like real lateral, if I do anything like I'm big in animal flow.
Yep. No, that's exactly right. I think like lateral movements are tough. You
Rotating
know,
movements.
exactly. Anything that sort of breaks this front and back plane,
Yeah.
you can maybe do it, but yeah, that's sort of exactly what I experienced as well, and I think that's where Soletic really fills the gap in the market that you can do 360-degree training up, down, left, right, and get the benefit of the spacers really.
Nice, nice, nice.
I do
So what
love the
is
Vivo Barefoot product. I got a pair myself. I think they do a really good job.
they are I am Team Vivo like up and down.
Yeah.
I've only worn another pair of barefoot shoes, I think Seguro. Um and my wife had bought them. She bought some, got me some, and I was like, the style wasn't it for me, and the fit was like okay, and I wanted to be barefoot, but not at the cost of style at the time.
I hear you. I mean, it's important.
And then now I have like 4 or 5 pairs of Vivos, and I live by them.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking, I don't know, like I'm on this barefoot movement thing, and like this barefoot movement, but also this barefoot movement. I don't know if I'm gonna race any race with shoes, like just to, it's a daring thing because
Yeah.
I'm like, so out here I'm in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico,
Okay.
and there's a race coming up later this month. It's called the Urban Vallarta, and it's like sand, gravel, stone, stairs, like narrow pathways, and I'm like, it's a 10K, so the distance is not horrible, but I'm like all the different terrain. Like, wow, do I really want to risk? I really want to risk going barefoot in that space, and I've been definitely renewed in my faith in Christ, and just like knowing that He is leading me and covering me, and I'm like, if it scares me, it's actually a good thing because I need to lean on Him more. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this scary thing, and I'm gonna just pray and just know that You're gonna cover me,
Well,
like,
yeah, there's always that comfort, right, in being uncomfortable. You find that place, and you're growing, right? If it's a little uncomfortable, right? That's how you sort of sharpen yourself. And so, good luck with that. I'm gonna have to keep following you and see where your journey takes you because that's quite an endeavor. It's really impressive, and I think like to have someone like you that's at the forefront of sort of pushing the limits for barefoot capital M movement.
yeah,
It's exciting to see sort of where this can go, and I think like there's a lot that people don't understand or know. Candidly, like there's a big education uh, gap. But I was
yeah,
just in the sauna yesterday talking about Soletic with someone, and yes, like we are out to improve foot health, right? That's sort of the nature. But I think like what has been true for me and why I wear spacers, and I think like what can really resonate with a lot of people is like by doing this for your feet, you are also alleviating and potentially mitigating strain throughout the rest of your body, right? Your
yeah,
feet map your body. So by wearing toe spacers, yes, like you'll cure some of the squeeze of your foot, but you can also experience better alignment, which will give you better hip sensation, lower back pain can be relieved, knee pain, right? So there's always sort of that aha moment when I talk to someone about the benefits throughout the rest of your body that having toe spacers can have. That I see it in their eyes. Oh, I've got hip pain. Oh, I've got lower back pain. Everyone on this earth has lower back pain and hip pain, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
that to me is a
And and
universal language.
and thankfully I don't. I actually I used to have not bad knee pain, but I have like come and go knee pain.
Really?
And my right knee, I was a triple jumper. And then I just also did a lot of jumping and plyometric training afterwards, and strained this hamstring twice. Not the fullest and best rehab. I was still young and arrogant of like, oh, it's 80%. I'm good. I could get back to it. So now I'm living the remnants of that, but I'll say like after running that half marathon for the first time, I felt fine. Like there was no back seizing up, my hips locking up, like my calves towards like mile 11 started to lock up, and I'm like, oh man, okay. But I didn't stop. I got to push through.
Yeah.
And but like that major pain that happens in the body, nothing. Like none of that happened, and I think it's because of the foot health. Like the foundation of humans is our feet.
That's right.
Like that is the main space that communicates with the earth as we walk. Nobody's walking on their forearms. Nobody's walking on their biceps. Nobody's walking on their hamstrings. Everybody walks on their feet. And the more we can, part of this movement, the more we can get people out of their shoes and onto the bare ground so their feet could actually communicate. It's like everything's a relationship, right? So like us right now, we're building a relationship as we're talking.
Yep.
But if there was an interpreter, there was a middleman, our relationship would be less.
That's right.
Because it's like, oh, well, so and so, like if we let's say we both had an assistant, it's like, oh yeah, well Jordan's assistant said this and Michael's assistant said that.
You don't have that immediate feedback loop, right? Which I think is what you're getting at, right? That
pretty much, yeah.
The soles of your feet serve, right, with all the nerve endings that exist on our feet. That's indicators for how our body should react and respond. I mean, you touched on exactly on this, right? We are primal animals, right? When it comes back to it. So how do we get back to the basics in a way, right? Sort of strip away some of these the layers that we've sort of become accustomed to wearing.
And I think it's that conversation, because I think I'm more than sure there's so many people that aren't aware that they've hired an assistant to communicate with the ground.
Yeah,
like
I love that analogy.
Yeah, it's it just dropped on me, so I'm grateful. Like it's like they're getting their souped up, Adidas, Nikes, New Balance, whatever shoe it is, but you're literally like this far off the ground. I saw an Instagram post the other day of this guy who runs, and he hit some divot in the street, and he rolled his ankle so hard, and I was like, I commented, and I was like, hey, if you like in the best polite way I could say, like, if you weren't 6 inches off the ground, you wouldn't have rolled your ankle. Like, there's so much space between you and the ground that, like, as you hit this off point, which as a runner, everybody's gonna hit this off level ground. If you're running in the street, if you're running like, and it was like street / grass / like curb, so it's bound to happen. It happened to me during COVID year. I remember because COVID, stuck in the house, and I ended up just hitting one piece of cement or gravel off. I was like a mile out, and then like roll my ankle, and I had to like hobble back home. Just like.
Yeah, I got into running at COVID, and I'll tell you what, Jordan, I've never been a runner in my life. So, but those are the days to do it.
Yeah. And, but I think there's so many people, I mean, I'm in the running space, and I think that's my lane to really be more aggressive in saying like, hey, you don't like, watch me do this miraculous thing that humans have been doing forever since the beginning of time of running barefoot for long distances. But we've been so dependable on these things, and because my faith, I am like, to me it's like, let me show off God's work. Like, God made all of us perfect, but like, you are going out and deciding that you need this extra big shoe that has all this technology and the specs and this and that, and I'm like, most people don't know the specs of their own body,
right?
So they end up relying on something else, which is, it's anything. Like, if you don't know the advantage that you have yourself, then you're going to rely on something else or somebody else.
And to take that, and just where my mind goes is, you don't know what you need, right? If you don't know what your body is from a dimensions perspective, how do you really get the resources that truly are appropriate for you?
Yeah, and there's just an aggressive movement of like, there's a race to making the shoe this space boot.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, yeah, there is. Go for it.
Yeah, so it's and all of them are still going this way. at the toe box. So it's like if there's I mean, and now the barefoot shoes they're coming out, and there's a race in that space as well. It's like who could have the best athletic barefoot shoe, and like Zero they have a basketball shoe that's out, like with a NBA player, a big guy. I think it's like I think it's a forward
Okay.
with like some weight on him, and he's wearing barefoot shoes from Zero playing, and I don't remember his name, but he's doing well. And then there's Vivo Barefoot is doing well between their hiking, running shoes, and like regular cross training shoe. But the purpose of them all is like a wide toe box to restore and like educate around foot health and why when you're going upstream from the feet, like you're starting to eliminate pain. Like knees don't hurt, hips don't hurt, back doesn't hurt,
Yeah.
which is
It's integral. I mean, look, I'm going to show my age. I still think I'm a young person. This is these are just things I wish I knew when I was younger, and things now in my 30s that are sort of non-negotiables. I got a new pair of Air Maxes, Nike Air Maxes, and I was like,
nice.
wow, these are great. I love them, right? Awesome classic shoe. I got them, and I had to, after an hour, I had to take them off, Jordan. They were squeezing my foot, and they've been in the back of my car ever since. It's like, oh, I've seen the light. I know how this, and more so, I've felt the light, right? I feel it.
Yeah.
And that connection of like knowing your body and knowing how it feels when your feet feel the way they should, I get like, it's like the ick. I can't have my foot compressed because it affects my mood, honestly, at this point. And so, yeah, I mean, I could not agree more. It's one of those things, for sustained training that I think gets more and more important the more you do.
Yeah, and I think athletes, so that feeling that you have, there's so many athletes that are used to being stuck in their shoes, and like they're used to like, oh, fine, take these shoes off. And it's like, what if you didn't have to play in that? What if like you rebelled so much? Like, what if your whole team said, hey, we're not playing in these shoes. We need something that actually serves our feet. But the culture starting from 6 years old is like, wear these high-heeled, super cushioned, narrow toe box shoes, and that's the norm. Especially if you're an athlete, you don't even think about anything that's not cool.
Right.
Like it's just like if you're an athlete and you want to be like a notable athlete, you're looking at Jordan, you're looking at LeBron, you're looking at Kobe, you're looking at Iverson. Like all of them had, and I'm 35, and I remember getting my first pair of Iversons. I remember getting the 12s from Jordan. Like I remember like, oh, I'm feeling like, I am like when I hit them in school tomorrow. Ooh,
watch out.
And it's like I remember that, and then like and I was taller. I'm 6'2", 6'3". So like in middle school I was taller. So like being the black kid in a majority white school that's tall, it's like basketball it's like I got Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like it's like a no-brainer. I got Jordan. It's like, yeah, and I was good. I wasn't the greatest, but I was good. And so with that, I can't wear, I mean, barefoot shoes wasn't a thing then, but like I can't show up in the not so cool shoes.
You're not wearing Skechers.
Not wearing Skechers. Like, yeah, like even
And
at that time.
Skechers is probably the most foot healthy brand even back then. So it's been true forever.
Yeah. So I think it's on the athletes to really, and this is a better question, how can we start to educate the athletes about their feet more? Like even like is Soletic, is that a mission, a part of Soletic?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I mean, I'm really glad you asked that question because there is such a massive gap in knowledge because we have been force-fed, or it's so ingrained, however you want to think about it and what you were talking on, that this is the norm. This is how we should feel. I mean, I play baseball too. You talk about cleats, take how you feel about basketball shoes and crank it up a notch. You want to talk about baseball cleats, soccer boots, whatever you want to.
Yeah, they're all super slim.
And now in soccer, you're talking about kicking a ball with your toes or your foot while your feet are compressed. I mean, it's exactly. That's exactly right. So, Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think like what Soletic, that's a broad topic of like the shoe industry and educating. But I think to develop, um, I should say, athletes to have that aha moment of, oh my gosh, this is what it feels like to be rooted correctly in the ground. This is what
Hmm.
it feels like to train with my foot spread as it should. This is what it feels like to be better, healthy, and set up across my body. That absolutely is at the forefront of what we're trying to push at Soletic, because it's really, again, it's had such an impact on my training, and it just feels right when you have these on and you're training this way. And again, back to what I said at the beginning, I think if something feels good, there's something to it and worth pursuing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. The my personal mission on it is creating an athletic field, athletic competition where barefoot or barefoot shoes is the only way to enter.
Mm,
So I'm creating, and I think I might have mentioned this to you offline. I'm creating the Barefoot Games,
yeah, yeah, I'm
and
excited for it.
yeah, the first one is gonna be. It's funny. I thought the first one is gonna be in Austin, so
Man,
I was super like Austin is the space for barefoot everything,
yeah.
and Vivo is actually making Austin their U.S. headquarters.
I did hear that actually, and they've got a retail shop at a place actually not too far from me, and yeah,
Yeah, the dojo, Phase Six
that's right,
Dojo.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I know so much about Austin because I was planning on moving there. I was there was a very strong season where God was speaking to me and like through Austin. It was like everything randomly, like even meeting you, I'm like, oh look at this company, babe. Guess where he's from? Austin. Yeah, it was like Austin, 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 Austin. So I was just like learning so much, and I'm like, this is the space. Clearly, I'm creating a barefoot competition. Austin is the home for it, and I think Austin's. I'm pretty sure Austin's gonna happen, just not right now. But the Barefoot Games is going to be a competition across 5 events that's going to test your speed, endurance, strength, mobility, and balance. And I'm going to do the first one I'm going to do here in Puerto Vallarta is going to be on the beach, which is going to be a whole other element
Mm,
because it's going to be on sand. But ultimately, it's the goal is to make it like a high rocks, like a Spartan race, like
Lord.
very, very commercial. The same 5 events, like it's we don't need much space. Like we need probably like 50 meters, and then probably like a lap, like a track, something for the endurance part. But it's gonna be a 40-yard dash, a 20-meter crawl, a 10-meter sandbag lift and carry.
Mm,
So 3 different weights, lift it all the way up successfully up, and then carry it 5 meters down, 5 meters back. And then a balance beam. I'm not sure, maybe like a 2 meter balance beam to see how long somebody can stay on there just walking back and forth. And then it's going to be a mobility mile. So, like 4 laps on a traditional track, and then every lap you're going to do some type of mobility movement or some type of
mm.
exercise. And everything is going to have a point system added to it, so, points added to it, and then you'll get your points at the end. And that's the Barefoot Games. Like they'll be the like the best barefoot athlete, and part of it is like I think to the point we were talking about earlier, it's like most kids are not doing something because it's not cool.
Yeah,
Oh, like early athletes like NBA, NFL, MLB, they're all still kids. Like they're 21, they're 22, they're still kids. So they're still not going to do anything that's not cool.
right.
So let's make barefoot cool. And one of my things like let's make barefoot lit and create an athletic environment where it's like you can't even enter unless you're barefoot or are wearing some type of barefoot approved shoes, and then really see who's the bare athlete. Like,
Yeah, first of all, there are a few things I want to say. That the Barefoot game sounds awesome, Jordan. We've got actually some Soletic athletes on our roster, so we would love to participate in those games. So let's stay in touch on that because that
yeah,
sounds like an amazing event. And I think what you're saying is true that we just need to up level everyone's knowledge, right, about the benefits of being barefoot and the tools out there, and that will rise the tide, right, for all boats rise, right, and so. that to me is really what I see as an amazing move for that industry or this industry. But what I've also seen is now starting a business in this industry is, and this ties back to it, is that everyone, even what you might think is competing brands, we talk on Instagram, and everyone's just super encouraging because I think like there's a shared experience, and this is just a really beneficial thing for people. And I can't say that holds true across a lot of industries. And I think again, it just comes back to this aha moment and this sort of feedback loop that you get from what we're doing. And it's just, yeah, it's nice to see and talk to more like-minded people like yourself.
Yeah, they're how I like to put it, we're all barefoot nerds.
That's
Like
right.
we're like that's it's simple. Like, and that was my so some years ago. My goal was to make a barefoot movement festival. It's like a barefoot movement fest. And I was like, wow, why doesn't this exist? And I think something like it does exist, but I was like, having something with like workshops, like there's like a kettlebell class, there's like a slackline thing, there's acro yoga, there's regular yoga, there's animal flow, there's there's like you can learn some jujitsu or just anything barefoot between like fighting, moving, playing, all the things. And then there's like an educational piece. Like there's a podiatrist there, there's a physio there, and like this whole just big conference where all the barefoot nerds could come and like just everybody just dumps their shoes at the front. Like it's just a pile of shoes at the front entrance, and everybody's walking around barefoot and having a ball. And maybe that will come later, but I was like, that only keeps the barefoot nerds in.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
doesn't expand.
it doesn't necessarily reach out to the influencers of the world, which are the athletes. Like the athletes, and like if LeBron James, I think there's pictures like LeBron James and Ronaldo wearing barefoot shoes and training.
Yep.
And I don't know if there's AI or not in any of them, but either way, it has a tug on people thinking like, oh, maybe I need to be wearing some better shoes. They are non-arguably one of the best in their space in their industry and have like longevity in the game.
Right. Right.
So if they are wearing these shoes, it's clearly that they want to stay in the game. So, but if both of them said, "Hey, I'm switching over, like I'm canceling Nike, and I'm gonna wear Thivo forever. I'm gonna wear Zero," it's like it'll be such a ripple effect.
Yeah.
That's like there's gonna be kids, and then he wouldn't do that without being able to design his own shoe.
Right.
So
Right.
then it's going to be like a nice looking barefoot shoe that some eighth grader is going to be like, I want the new LeBrons, and like, really, you want these shoes? And it's like, yeah, because LeBron has them. Period.
Right.
If Ronaldo does the same thing, he makes a custom boot and it's like wide, and it's like so many kids around the world would be like, I want the new one, and it's gonna, and this immediately things change, and it's like, okay, if the athletes have the bigger influence, like all the nerds, all the doctors, like us, we don't have the strongest influence
Right.
because we're not in the space of influence. Like
That's right. I mean, there's
everybody knows McDonald's is trash. Like that's not a secret. Yet they're still open 24 hours in so many places.
still the biggest restaurant chain in the world, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, athletes are pop culture, and pop culture controls a lot of our spending, right? And so that's the way it is. And I do think like you've got some certain athletes like Jaylen Brown comes to mind, who plays on the Celtics in the NBA, who's gone off and started his own shoe line, and now it's not barefoot. But I do think one, like what we're doing, pushing on these kinds of products and this thread of barefoot, we're at the forefront of it, and I do think it's not. I don't think it's going away.
Yeah, it's expanding so much.
We're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then I think you're going to meet this next generation of athletes who are more empowered to break from the conventional brands that we've had in the past. And so
Yeah.
I think it's more a matter of when, not if.
Yeah.
We'll see, and it'll be an exciting thing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it works out for me. It works out for both of us. Like in starting a business early, because then it's like, as they grow, they'll get their Soletic, toe spacers.
That's right.
they'll go and attend the Barefoot Games because it's going to be a thing. Like, to me, doing high rocks is super cool. Nothing against high rocks. I just think there needs to be a space where all the barefoot nerds that have been training intensely in toe spacers or barefoot, when they go line up, like when I go to run this half marathon, everybody else is going to be having shoes on.
Right.
It's not an even playing field. So like the goal is like to be in a space where it's like the floor is literally like it's literally even playing fields where everybody is like barefoot shoes or just bare feet and going at it. And then there's some other spin-offs of that business that'll kind of trickle into things, but that's the goal. Part of the reason why having this podcast is like having a space to talk about it.
Yeah.
So that it can start reaching more people and advertising. It's scary, like planning this first one, but I'm really excited for it because I know there's nobody I've told about it, and it's like, stupid idea. I don't know. No one's going to go for it.
I think you're touching on again. Yeah, I'm excited by it. I think, I mean, you said it here, and I'd never heard you talk about it, and it certainly resonates. So I think you're onto something there, Jordan. And yeah, again, I mentioned this. We've got some Soletic athletes. So if you're looking for competitors or people to hop in, we'd love to partner with you there and sort of contribute.
Yeah, definitely. There's I mean, I don't know. I mean, I find some decent flights from Austin to Puerto Vallarta, but it'll be amazing to have him here and compete at the inaugural.
Yeah.
The inaugural one. Some rapid fire things before we close out. Or in all things barefoot, socks or no socks?
No socks.
Yeah. Agreed. Your favorite space to be barefoot?
Yoga studio.
Least favorite space to be barefoot?
My office.
Your best warm-up tool for doing anything barefoot? Like tool, exercise, etc.
A tennis ball.
Yes. Your best recovery tool?
Toe spacers.
Which ones?
Soletic. Yeah, so this is all the clouds my Soletic spacers are on.
Yeah. I usually have my notebook with me. There's a few other questions. Since seeing the light, what shoes, I think you might have answered this one already, what shoes do you miss?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I cut you off there, sorry. But my Air Maxes, man, those are retired.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was all the questions. I think that was the last one. This was a good one. What is your best tip you would give to anyone looking to transition from wearing the Air Max, wearing the baseball cleats, wearing the soccer cleats, to getting into this barefoot life?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things I'll say that come immediately to mind. The first is find a way to do it that's approachable, right? So I don't believe it's fair unless you're a yogi like me. But in most modalities, I don't know that it's fair to say I'm going to drop my shoes or transition to barefoot shoes and do the same things that I was doing for years in conventional shoes. So I think making like a work back plan to where you are is a way to easily make that transition and do so in a way that's got some framework to it that you can crawl, walk, run. And then the second piece that comes to mind is get on Instagram, get on whatever social media is, and look at other exercises that folks who are in this space are already doing. Because I mean, it's amazing to me how starting Soletic now, the algorithm has got me with folks like yourself, how we met, right? There's so much content out there about alternative ways to exercise, to attack your body in ways that are really beneficial, that, you know, it's not back squatting with your Nikes on, right? That's the way I was sort of training when I was 18. There's just it's I think maybe to distill it down is like have a transition plan, make it really easy and digestible. And the second is just like get access to more information.
Love it. Thank you. Where can everybody find you, find Soletic? Where can they order?
Yeah, we've got Soletic Mobility on Instagram. That's our handle at Soletic Mobility. And then our website is soleticmobility.com. You can purchase your spacers on our website. We are going to be launching soon on TikTok Shop as well.
Beautiful. What can we expect down the line from Soletic?
Yeah, we're going to be coming out with a second size. So right now we've got our first spacer out there. That's essentially it's a one size fits most, unless you're in the NBA or otherwise like a big college basketball player. Our spacer should fit you. But we're going to come out with another sort of a second size. So it'll be sort of a small, medium, and a large, extra large. That way you could even do potentially a his and hers, but also just to make sure that we cover all the bases from a size perspective. And then more ancillary products for your feet, for your ankle, as well as a sock that we're designing for that will have spacers sort of embedded into the sock. So you can have sort of a grip sock experience with your spacers in the sock.
Love that. That's exciting. Sweet. Well, Michael, thank you again for joining.
2026 should be a big year.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing, having this great conversation. I hope everybody is benefiting from it. And if anything else, everybody, we appreciate you. We're here at the Bare Athlete Podcast, where we believe the stronger the feet, the stronger the athlete. We'll see you soon.
Jordan, thank you for having me on.